Hi, Anita. Hey, I'm just just checking out the latest thing that's going. Uh, Frumpty Dumpty is at it again. Hello, hello, welcome. The man is at it again, of course. I haven't been live in a long time. I'm good. I've been going through some medical issues. And I've been okay though. Sometimes you just gotta go through what you gotta go through and try to work through some things. So, you know, I'm just doing what I usually do when, I'm not doing nothing else. Hey, Lana. Hey, honey. Yeah, it's just, they just want to, get put y'all up on what's the next thing Frumpty Dumpty been doing. I've been okay. I had a episode yesterday. Let me see what my camera's doing. Okay. I don't know. I was in turmoil yesterday. I have a condition called it's called thunderclap syndrome. So my condition was starting to get worse because it was starting to be recurring. Usually, hey Joshua Gabriel, hi honey. Usually when it happens, I get that big boom, and then it's gone, and I don't have to worry about it for a year or two, maybe sometimes three. I've gotten away with having to deal with it. Oh, you're currently fighting cancer? Oh, baby. I pray for you as well. Uh, this thing that I suffered from, I don't know why, but it suddenly starts to get, it started to take toll on me. Uh, I've been going through these things. You've been good, Joshua. Good, good. I've been going through these things like from a child, but did not know what it was. I just knew that I would have migraines. I was very active. I played ball and different things, ran track, all these things. But sometimes, I would get these incredible headaches. I thought it was headaches at the time. The older I had gotten, they went away, but then the older I had gotten, they had started to come back, like more severe. But I just figured, oh, just a migraine. But then I find out that when I get a little bit more older, I find out that I have this condition, what they call thunderclap syndrome. And believe me, this is not just like your regular migraine. It's like 100 times most. For most people that suffered from it, it is almost like the end of the world for you. So it's very painful. Is almost so I had a terrible attack because you all know I moved. Some of you that don't know, I moved. And so I'm in a totally different place, and I have to put safeguards. What I'm saying, because I live alone now. My children, my grandchildren, they're going to doing the thing, and so I live alone now. And so it is. Yeah, it is more than that, Anita. It's more than that. It's like so. I went through this, so they started coming back again. In other words. And so I'm like, what the hell? Like, okay, but they're recurring, So I go, I get my appointment and everything. Yeah, it's clusters. Like, it's fucking on. For last night, for me, it was on ending. And so I'm like, fuck, you're trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? And I went through that. I went through it the whole damn night. It was so crazy for me. But I am seek getting a help that I need, which there is no cure for that. You can only try to manage it, but there is no cure for it. So I try the best that I can to stay alive. I'll just put it like that. It's no easy task, but the suffrage is terrible. You get those too. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, I suffered from it all my life, but the older I got, the more severe it got. I don't know if it changed or if when you're a kid, you're stronger. You know what I'm saying? You take that shit with stride and you get through it. But since I'm older now, it's tough. It's really tough, and so it's terrible. And who man, I said, oh, you're gonna kill me finally. That's the only thing I was thinking. You're gonna kill me finally. But my doctors and everything, they're gonna take care of me, and we're gonna get to the business of it. Probably the tumors probably show back up. We're gonna listen to this, y'all.
MAGA Republicans directed at the district attorney's office.
This is from the dumpty sending threats to pull another insurrection.
Alvin Bragg has basically said that we will not tolerate or
mine's do too, Anita.
At our office. Let me read for you the full email that Alvin Bragg sent to the district attorney's office as criminal charges against Donald Trump are imminent. This is what it says. It says the following: Dear colleagues, I'm sure you have seen the ongoing press attention and public comments surrounding an ongoing investigation by this office. Please know that your safety is our top priority. We have full confidence in our outstanding security staff and investigators, along with our great OCA and NYPD colleagues, and we'll continue to coordinate with all of them. We do not tolerate attempts to intimidate our office or threaten the rule of law in New York. Our law enforcement partners will ensure that any specific or credible threats against the office will be fully investigated and that the proper safeguards are in place, so all 1,600 of us have a secure work environment. This office is full of the finest public servants in the country. I am committed to maintaining a safe work environment where everyone is able to continue to serve the public with the same diligence and professionalism that make this institution so renowned. In the meantime, as with all our investigations, we will continue to apply the law evenly and fairly and speak publicly only when appropriate. If you have questions or concerns, please contact your supervisor, and we will work to answer them as quickly and as thoroughly as possible. Thank you, Alvin. That is the email that Alvin Bragg sent to all of the staff and the lawyers in the district attorney's office after statements like this have been made by Donald Trump and others. This is what Donald Trump writes. He goes, "It's time. We are a nation in steep decline, being led into World War III by a crooked politician who doesn't even know he's alive, but who is surrounded by evil and sinister people who, based on their actions on defunding the police, destroying our military, open borders, no voter ID, inflation, taxes, and much more, can only hate our now failing USA. We just can't allow this anymore. They're killing our nation as we sit back and watch. We must save America. Protest, protest, protest." And Donald Trump has made numerous statements, in addition to just complete disinformation and lies, trying to provoke another insurrection. For example, you may remember the initial post that Donald Trump made over the weekend where he basically wrote, claims that he's the faraway leading Republican candidate. And he says that he's going to be arrested on Tuesday next week. Protest, take our nation back, he wrote in the other post. Protest, take our nation back, which again is clearly an effort by him to try to incite yet another insurrection. Here's just more statements where he basically acts like he did nothing wrong and tries to encourage threats against Alvin Bragg, and also very anti-Semitic types of threats, trying to claim that Alvin Bragg is basically being controlled by George Soros. This is what
really,
he wrote
Nita?
in his
sorry,
most recent post. Trump wrote, "When Alvin Bragg first attained office, he made it very clear, like,
don't say that to me,
against Donald Trump. Then the Biden administration, the Democrats, and the fake news media began pushing him and pushing him hard. And lo and behold, he said that there might just be a case after all. I knew what that meant. He was being pushed to do something that shouldn't be done. He wasn't willing to stand up to Soros and the Marxists that are destroying our country. And so when you put all of these posts together, you can clearly see what he's trying to do, trying to fuel anti-Semitic and just despicable statements out there, to try to encourage his supporters, his cult, to go and do what they did during the January 6th insurrection. Here's another one that he wrote. He goes, "There was no misdemeanor here. There was no crime, period. All other of the many Democrat law enforcement officers that looked at it took a pass. So did Cy Vance and so did Bragg. But then much later he changed his mind. Gee, I wonder why. Prosecutorial misconduct and interference with an election. Investigate the investigators." None of this is true. There was a grand jury that was out there when Cy Vance left. If you think there's prosecutorial misconduct, which there isn't because you haven't even been prosecuted yet, make your motion. You will lose like you do on all these motions when you sue New York Attorney General Letitia James and others. And then here's a common refrain: investigate the investigators. The same way they go after the January 6th committee, they want to go after Alvin Bragg. And that's why Alvin Bragg is, again, sending that important message to all of the investigators, all of the prosecutors, all of the staff within the district attorney's office, that intimidation will not be accepted.
Thank
And by the
you,
way, it's also
Anita.
all part of a fundraising grift. This is an
I
email
know.
the Trump campaign put out when they were asking for money. They wrote, "There's an easy way out of this mess. I could renounce our America First agenda. I could say that I'm ending my 2024 presidential campaign. I could sell my soul to the globalist power brokers who've made a fortune off destroying our country." And within minutes, George Soros would call up his prosecutor and tell him to leave Trump alone, and that's followed by a request for a donation. Here is on the right wing, this is Greg Price, MAGA right wing extremist, who says, "Every patriot must take to the street to stop the prosecution of our President Trump. They want a war. Let's give them a war." That is the message being internalized by these MAGA extremists, by the messages being sent to them by Donald Trump. Adam Kinzinger, who was on the January 6th committee, who's actually genuinely a conservative, not one of these MAGA Republican fascists, reflected on what the Republican Party has become today, a cult under Trump, and says the law and order party, obviously sarcastically. And so this is basically where we're at right now. And so look, if there is witness intimidation, if there is crimes being committed, I think that Alvin Bragg will certainly charge Donald Trump with that as well as any MAGA Republicans who try to threaten the office. The same way all these insurrectionists have been prosecuted because they follow Donald Trump's advice regarding the insurrection. We're going to see potentially the same thing here. Mark Elias just posted as well the federal criminal code regarding a federal law violation for inciting riots and inciting, encouraging and participation in riots through interstate commerce. Whoever travels in interstate or foreign commerce or uses any facility in interstate or foreign commerce, including but not limited to the mail, telegraph, telephone, radio, or television, with the intent to incite a riot, to organize, promote, encourage, participate in, or carry on a riot, or to commit any act of violence in furtherance of a riot, or aid and abet any person in inciting or participating in or carrying on a riot, shall be in prison for no more than 5 years. And that may in fact come into play, but we will keep you posted here on the Midas Touch Network. But it is good certainly to see Alvin Bragg responding, Alvin Bragg, privately letting people know at the office what is going on, and that he will not accept at all intimidation. I'm Ben Mike.
So it's kind of crazy, the things that's going on. And I like to bring to the surface, so people could know what's going on, because I know you have your everyday life and everything to live. But these people in the Congress, it is a whole lot of crazy crap going on that you may not pay, no attention to, because we have to live our lives. And so I pay attention to it because I truly believe that in order for us to be informed as to, because you got to weed out the lies that they tell. Politicians lie all the time, on both sides. But it's what they do is what is more interested to me, is what they do. Not what they say, because they lie all the time. But I want to know what you're doing about things. And then you have to read between the lines, especially what's going on. Do I have a former president that's probably more likely going to be indicted? And he's calling to arms again, just like he did with the insurrection on the Capitol. He's doing it again. This man thinks that he's above the law. He's pulled all kind of shit. He's the worst of the worst. I mean, and to have been a president of our United States, he did absolutely nothing but feed the rich, incited insurrections. I mean, like, he's the worst person, period. And so he he birthed this MAGA Republicans. They don't stand for nothing. They don't care about nothing but power and money. And this is what we have to deal with. And so they have the majority. They have the majority in the House. And so now they're not even writing solutions for the people on the ground. Us, for the people. They supposed to represent us people, their constituents, and yet they're investigating investigations, which it is not happening for them. And it's like you wasted our tax. First of all, you're not helping us. You're just wasting our taxpayers' money because you got a grudge, because y'all didn't win when you thought you tried to steal an election, you tried to overturn the election. All these things that are happening, they're pure evil. And so I just always bring this up because, I want people to know this in case you're really, really busy, taking care of your life and everything. And when things are fucked up, I just bring it to attention why things are fucked up, because people that's supposed to represent you, that you put in office, that you vote for, oh, they're not doing their fucking job. And I must say, is crazy. It's such crazy stuff. And I listen to this shit and I look at it because I want to know what they're doing. I want to know what kind of bills they're passing. I just want to know. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not to be trusted. I, I, I don't know. It's like nothing to say. And the only thing that I can do is just watch them, watch what they do, and the shit that they pour out the mouth when they lie to you. So Fox News is in trouble, y'all. Fox News knew that the election wasn't stolen, and yet they kept spilling out that disinformation, which led up to Donald Trump being able to call an insurrection. He called up people. He's doing the same thing because he's about to get indicted, and of course Donald Trump does not want to go to jail. He does not want to be indicted. He does not want to be held accountable for his criminal actions. Donald Trump is a serial criminal. His criminality is dividing this country, just whisking away. And then, you got the MAGA Republicans, the sycophants that follow him. They're like, they think this is how they're gonna get voted in, to put divisiveness in there, to make the, they call it establishment. So, and then they use this term wokeism. They don't even know what the fuck it means. It's so crazy. They don't even know. They don't even know what it means, and it kills me that they'll take a cultural saying, especially for black people. They'll take that and turn it around into some stupid shit. They're so fucking dumb. It just fucking hurts my ass. And then they out there out loud and everything. But all these investigations turns up nothing. So that is it's a waste of our taxpayer money, and they're not doing nothing. Biden proposed, he put out there his proposal and stuff. They still have not come up with nothing. Yet they're screaming and shouting and about nothing. Wokeism. Even that dumbass Ron DeSantis. This fucker is banning fucking history books. He's banning books. I mean, like, how fucking far these motherfuckers will take shit. The Republican Party is not a Republican Party that I understand or know. For real. Like, you have your differences and everything, but these motherfuckers have taken it to an all-time low. They, it's ridiculous. So I just sit back and I watch certain things, and I'm like, oh my god, this shit here is fucking ridiculous, and this is what our country is about. Seriously, this shit here, and these people that supposedly represent represent the constituents in these states that they represent. Well, you know, I'm just doing some highlights on some things that was of some interest to me. And so, uh, just look at some certain things that you all may not be aware of. And just for you to
Kellyanne
know.
Conway has been going on the media and throwing Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law and former top aide as well, under the bus. Here in this interview, Kellyanne Conway says that Jared Kushner benefited to the tunes of billions of dollars by working in the White House. In other words, while Jared Kushner had a job that was supposed to be a job representing the American people, which is absolutely disgusting that he'd be put in that position in the first place, he used that position to enrich himself to the tune of billions of dollars, by the way, which is unlawful. But watch Kellyanne Conway, Donald Trump's top advisor, admit it. Play the clip.
What's going on with the Trump administration? And I think Jamie Raskin is onto this as well. The congressman from Maryland is on the committee saying, why aren't we investigating the Trump accounting firms, or why don't you look into things like Jared Kushner getting $2 billion directly from the Saudis after former President Trump bragged about protecting the Saudi prince? We just don't know, but I think this is a thin veil for the fact that, after all this investigation and talk about Hunter Biden, the committee's come up with zero, with nothing. And they got the laptop, they got this, that, nothing.
Kellyanne, is that a fair question about Jared Kushner?
Well, Jared, of course, is the only person I think who's benefited in the billions with a B from the Trump presidency, that's for sure. But look, I think whataboutism isn't going to work here, Martha and Juan, as hard as you're trying, Juan, for a very simple...
Right. What she is saying took place is a crime. I know with large media networks trying to both sides the issues that we are just numb to, admissions of crimes like that. But yes, Jared Kushner, while he was in the White House, cut deals for himself and Ivanka, by the way, to the tunes of billions of dollars. They put their business interests far above the American interest and frankly undermined American interests so that they made billions and billions of dollars. And don't take it from me, take it from Donald Trump's top former advisor, who you see there. Like Kellyanne Conway, as part of these interviews, also was just saying there's some other strange stuff. I got to admit, like on one of the interviews
been live in a while,
she talked about.
So I don't know.
Did you know that China is giving body armor to China? Here, play this clip.
Insurmountable the bailouts for all of the above seem all but certain, but people should know the news today because the White House is not going to tell them, Sean. It was revealed that China is sending body armor and other weapons of war to China. And we know it.
By the way, when I show you clips like that, let's remember, Kellyanne Conway was a former top aide to Donald Trump. So she would be giving Donald Trump advice like that. Like, she was someone who was placed in positions that significantly impacted your safety and your health and your family's safety and health, which is, of course, incredibly alarming and concerning when you see her say things like that. Then she turned to the topic of Hunter Biden, and whenever they say that this is not what it's about, because of course she's the one who coined the phrase alternative facts, although it was certainly being utilized all the time. She was just the one who said the quiet part out loud. So the alternative facts that she's saying is that what the MAGA Republicans do not care about or should not care about when it comes to Hunter Biden is like naked photos of him. Just watch what she says.
This is very troubling. I want to make clear to everybody what this is not about. It's not about any of us wanting to see one more clouded, shrouded picture of a naked Hunter Biden.
It should also be mentioned that literally in the segment that immediately preceded, it may have been the show that immediately preceded it, though, all they were doing was showing on Fox, they were showing the photos of Hunter Biden, like with his shirt off. I mean, they're absolutely obsessed. And by the way, as I did a hot take on this, I think it was last week, Donald Trump posted on his social media platform a 1:30 video, which purported to be Hunter Biden naked and having sex. Like, you heard me right. Donald Trump posted on his social media platform a 90-second video of Hunter Biden naked having consensual sex. And Donald Trump said something like the laptop from hell. And you'll recall as well, during all of the congressional hearings that have been held recently, one of the things the MAGA Republicans, when they had these hearings on like Twitter weaponization or whatever the heck they're calling it, the tweets that they were saying were censored, that they wanted to be publicized, were tweets of Hunter Biden naked, and they were sex-shaming tweets that MAGA Republicans wanted to be posted that violated Twitter's terms of service because of sex-shaming and putting nude videos of people, and that's what the MAGA Republicans want up there. So I'll show you one other video of Kellyanne Conway. Here she is she's yelling at the fact that she would be accused of violating the Hatch Act, which she repeatedly involved in, and that she was asked to like resign by the other guest on this panel, Juan Williams, because of the fact that she violated the Hatch Act. And she calls it like the Hatch Act thing, like it's not a serious thing. Here, play this clip.
By the way, you know what, Juan? On this network, you called for my firing because of ridiculous Hatch Act, because I said Elizabeth Warren had lied about her ethnicity for 34 years. She did, because I said Joe Biden was an old, rich, white, straight guy. He is. You said I should be fired for that. And you're okay with the Biden family getting $3 million? That's rich. All right, I'm going to let...
By the way, that's like a perfect representation there of MAGA, right? Like throwing each other under the bus, throwing Kushner under the bus, and then just also being all over the place. Did you know China's giving body armor to China? Obsessions with Hunter Biden, saying that Hatch Act thing like it's not a real law. We should all be thankful every single day that Donald Trump is no longer in power, but we must never forget who these MAGA Republicans are, because it's a combination of fascism and idiocracy in a way that you just have to watch the video and go, what the heck is that? That's what I do. That's why I share these with you. I'm Ben Mycelis from the Midas Touch Network. Hey, hit subscribe.
Okay, so I'm trying to operate my thing. I don't know. I haven't went live in a while, so I'm actually trying to figure out how to do this thing, and I'm having problems, and so let me go live a little bit, because I've been kind of out of touch with the live thing, and I don't know what's happening with this. What's going on? Jesus. Okay. So anyways, I'm just doing some highlights of what's really happening, and that's about it. I was just looking. I was like, I want to. I need to. Uh, I haven't went live in a while, so I'm just here trying to figure this thing out because I'm not tech savvy, and whew, and I haven't. I'm trying to figure this out. I guess I totally forgot how to do this, or my devices are not clear, not operating like I want them to. But it's okay. I'll figure it out. So there's another thing I want to go to. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, no, I don't like him because he is like clickbait, and so there's a lot of things that I think need to be said. First of all, it is very sad that our country has gotten to this place. I mean, like how in the hell do you first of all, the insurrection that was terrible, and then and then this fool is doing the same thing. He's calling to arms because he's about to be indicted, but he don't know what day he's about to be indicted. But he calls to arms these sycophantic crazies to protest. And see, his protest is not like a Black Lives Matter protest. No, his protest just like the insurrection that they put on the Capitol. He says, take America back. Like, I mean, and so all these people that got jailed and that's doing time for the insurrection, he don't care about them. He didn't come to their aid. You know what I'm saying? He don't care about people. He just want other people to do his bidding because he want to stay in power, because he's scared to go to jail, and he should go to jail. That fucker should very well go to jail. Like, seriously, he should go to jail because he's a nuisance. He's dangerous, you know, to our country. He's dangerous. So let me go here. Whew, I don't understand. What the hell? I haven't used this device in a while. So let's see what they're talking about.
The news out there first and trying to control the narrative on it. But it was shocking this morning. I mean, I got a phone call from NBC this morning saying, how fast can you get into the office? So we were all taken aback by it. And as it turns out, he doesn't actually have anything to justify what he said about expecting to be arrested on Tuesday. His spokesperson said that he was going off of basically media reports about the possibility that he might be indicted this week. As you noted, NBC reported that law enforcement is preparing for the possibility because there are so many different law enforcement agencies that would be involved in dealing with an indictment, from the U.S. Secret Service to the local law enforcement officials in New York, and that they have to have some sort of plan in the event that it does happen.
Yes, I remember January 6th, and then you look at the investigation that went into that and the criticisms of law enforcement. It seems to me they're proactively mobilizing, if you will, at this point. In terms of protests, because that is also what the former president called for in this statement, you have folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we're going to put her tweet up on the screen. She said this in a tweet. She said, "We don't need to protest about the communist Democrats' planning to arrest President Trump and the political weaponization of our government and election interference." Okay, so what has, well, first of all, there's a lot to unpack in her own statement, but that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. What has been the reaction from other Republicans? We saw what Speaker McCarthy said, and I would like to note, Speaker McCarthy didn't have to say anything.
Well, let's step back for a second. Speaker McCarthy has all this power that he's talking about, the power of the federal government. This is a threat to the Manhattan prosecutor. He says, we're going to use a federal investigation to look at all of the funds that might have supported something like that. So if you look into federal funding, how does that filter down to local law enforcement, to local prosecutors? This is a threat from Kevin McCarthy and should be read that way. In the same vein, what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, though, basically is she understands what happened the last time Donald Trump called for a protest. We all saw January 6th. If something like that were to happen again after he made a call, I think the strength of the federal prosecutor Jack Smith's argument about inciting a riot, if he makes that argument in an indictment or in a prosecution, makes it all the stronger.
Yeah, Charlie, I want to bring you in here because what is your reporting telling you that from, I know the Manhattan DA's office is declining to comment, but what is the chatter, if there is any? And then when it comes to these multiple investigations into the former president, do you think that this is the investigation that poses the biggest risk to him long term?
Well, this is certainly an investigation that looks like it is the first to go in terms of a decision about seeking a grand jury indictment appears to be nigh. He's not wrong that this is the week we've all been looking at. He just sort of made up that it was Tuesday. So when you're cautioning your viewers that this was based on no evidence, that's correct. But it's also like, it would not surprise anyone if something happened this week. We've all been looking for it, and that's why those preparations were happening. Also the case in Georgia with the local prosecutor in Atlanta seems to be ripe. We know that the special grand jury recommended various charges. She now has to decide whether to seek an indictment, but the investigation is basically done. And by contrast, the federal special counsel investigations based out of Washington, one into January 6th and Trump's attempts to cling to power writ large, not just in Georgia, and the other about the Mar-a-Lago documents affair, seem to be much further behind. So these two local prosecutions are the ones that are queued up to go first if something happens.
Anything from Alvin Bragg's office? Is there any chatter in New York behind the scenes today on this?
My understanding is that the Bragg's office is totally locked down. They are not saying anything. And Trump, of course, accused them of leaking. The open secret about all cases, not just this one, is that what is known about an investigation before an indictment is almost always coming from defense attorneys, witnesses to the grand jury who only have a pinhole eye of what's really happening, or lawyers for the defendant who are trying to spin something that may or may not be reliable. And then they always blame the prosecution, but rarely is it, in fact, coming out of the prosecution's office.
Very important point, Charles. As a former prosecutor here, I wonder your take on what John Allen said about what came from Speaker McCarthy amounted to a threat to Alvin Bragg. It sounded they're threatening Alvin Bragg, and also your take on the post from former President Trump this morning. Again, baseless, frankly, at this point, and everyone should be urging caution. But if you were a prosecutor on this case, would you be concerned?
Well, I don't think that Donald Trump's statement is going to concern me because at the end of the day, as a former prosecutor, I can tell you Alvin Bragg is going to do what Alvin Bragg is going to do. He has a case in the grand jury, in front of that grand jury, and his goal at this time is to get a true bill from that grand jury and secure an indictment. It doesn't appear that that's done yet. It doesn't appear that jury presentation is even over. So President Trump, or former President Trump's tweet is extremely premature because at this point it's not even certain that Alvin Bragg has an indictment to present and arrest Donald Trump on and arraign him. So all of those things have yet to take place. So if I'm Alvin Bragg, I'm not thinking about that. I'm instructing my assistants to move forward with the presentation and get that true bill because that's the first step that's necessary to make all these other things happen. With respect to Speaker McCarthy, I do think that John's point is valid and should be watched very, very carefully going forward because this might be
this is not cool.
I want to play something for you all. Donald Trump's lawyer told my colleague Ari Melber this week that the former president's payments to Stormy Daniels were not illegal. Take a listen to this.
Why burn a candle when you can switch to Airwick Essential Mist? It's a modern way to transform.
So I'm gonna end this because I'm not getting. I have to do this, but I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back a little later. I have to figure this out, y'all. But thanks for coming in. Because this setting is not right, and I haven't been been live in a while, so this is not right with this. So I'm gonna go out and come back in and try to fix this. So I'm gonna end this, and then I have to